Toni. I think everybody was shocked when we found out that these two actually got married. I know, like, there's a lot of things we will do in order to pay our bills, but I never thought the relationship between Toni and Birdman was genuine. I just knew that he was just willing to go broke behind her. It just never fit. And so apparently in August of last year in 2024, they had a secret wedding. Finally got married in secret, even though everything else was public. And then she went and tried to annul the marriage 2 weeks later because she realized she had stopped.
All right, now I've got to say that this is one of the very few times that I actually wholeheartedly agree with Tasha K, because this relationship makes no sense at all. You mean Toni Braxton, the living legend, actually married Birdman, only for Toni to turn around and file for divorce 2 days later? This is some drama that Toni has no time or business being involved in. And right now, Birdman isn't having it either. He's been putting off them getting married now for more than 6 years, while Toni has been patiently waiting on the sidelines. She's been playing her cards right, and when it was finally time for them to tie the knot, she secured that bag, and Birdman now allegedly has to pay her out of his $160 million fortune. Child, I bet he didn't see that one coming, especially after the way he played Lil Wayne out of his money. But what actually made Toni file for divorce so quickly? Well, the first thing you should know is that Toni Braxton and Birdman have been good, quote-unquote, friends for a very long time now, almost 20 years. And when I say friends, I mean there's no way that these two haven't been knocking boots, okay?
That, you know, me and him have been friends for 16 years.
I know you had a song like 15 years ago.
Yeah,
too,
we've
right?
been like besties for a long time.
People always say that. But
No, this is real. Like, no cross the line.
Besties, like you always kept in touch and you always talked.
We would keep in touch. He would come see me when I had my plays. When I had my baby shower, he would come. Like, we were really friends.
Toni said that they didn't cross any line or anything like that before they started officially dating. Okay, let's continue. Birdman is notoriously private about his love life, so imagine everyone's surprise when word was going around that the two of them started dating in 2016 and that they may have even eloped in 2017. Toni denied these rumors. Birdman denied it too, but they said they were just hanging out, keeping it cool and cute and chill. You know, the same way you do with your situationship.
What's happening with you? You was at the awards last night?
Yeah, I was out there
Working?
doing my thizzle.
And you were with Toni, which kind of felt like some sort of announcement.
I wouldn't look at it as an announcement. Not for me, on my behalf. You know, I just wanted to come. Me and T just went to the awards, check it out. So, what's the big deal?
It is a big deal. You know why it's a big deal? Because it's Birdman and Toni Braxton. And also because we don't see you like in a relationship. We talked about this last time when you
I've always been off the radar because I think me personally, I always felt your personal life don't have nothing to do with conflict with your entertainment life.
But there was a blind item circulating confirming that the two of them may have just been a thing. The blind item says, this former A-plus list aging singer comes from a singing family, dumped her longtime boyfriend because she had to take care of her family and pay up her massive debts. So instead of being with someone for love, she says now she has sold herself to the highest bidder, and the winner is a guy who was living on borrowed time life-wise because of all of the people gunning for him. And that checks out for Toni. She filed for her second bankruptcy back in 2010 because she had to cancel her Las Vegas shows as she was battling lupus. Toni has also talked about how she carried her family and her sisters expected her to pay the bills. And Toni also talked about their relationship and why it felt so easy being with him. She said, it's comforting to have someone tell you it's okay to be ill and that you don't have to be Wonder Woman at all times. Going through lupus can be very draining. And there were a lot of times Toni felt the burden. And with Birdman, she didn't have to pretend to be okay when she really wasn't. I've always had issues dating because I was ashamed to have lupus and felt like no one would want to take care of a woman with lupus. I was insecure. With him, I can be comfortable with a little hat or scully on with some lipstick and mascara, but I can just let my hair down a little bit and it feels great.
People don't know, 2016, November, when I was on tour, October, I was really sick. I don't mean kind of sick. I mean like really,
From the
really
lupus?
sick.
Or
I had a
from-
really
okay.
bad flare, and I was on tour. And every day I was on tour, he was there with me. If he left out, he would come back.
And this is before anybody knew you guys.
We weren't
were
anything.
even,
It was
like-
buddies. It was
Right.
nothing. It was
Right.
nothing. Not even a day. He was my friend. He was there. I don't know if
he already loved you. He's there every day taking care of you.
But you know, he really was there every day. My buddy, my friend T, you all right? You good? I'm cheering good. You know, he was just there as my friend. Like I'm cheering good. Big Mama good. He was there every day for the shows. And on my off days, he would go and take care of his business, but he would follow me on the bus and just make sure I was okay. And I don't know if you've ever been really, really sick in your life and you feel kind of hopeless and you got somebody who's a friend that's there. That's kind of, it just made me see him differently.
Well, it looked like Birdman was feeling the same way about Toni when he popped the question, and he did so with a rock. Toni posted a picture of the two of them soon after the engagement, and you could spot that ring a mile away. Birdman spent about $1 million to get his woman to say yes and gushed about her to Wendy Williams, calling her his family.
Well, T, that's my girl, my friend, my family.
Do you have sex?
That's my love, my soldier, my life. She my everything, and I trust her.
Because you bought her a Bentley truck.
Yes.
So the implication is that's your girlfriend.
She my life. I love her to death.
But if the two of them were so in love with each other, then why didn't they just get married already? Toni talked about how excited she was to be getting married a second time and told Wendy that they almost had a date, but some family drama got in the way of them sealing the deal.
There's no date. We almost had a date. Well, we had 2 dates, but we were doing Braxton Family Values and we were going through a little drama. And I was like, okay, the wedding is a good thing to get all of us sisters together.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get us all together. And I said, the wedding's not a good reason because it's messing up my relationship a little bit. He's like, come on, Michelle, set a date. I know.
That's what he calls you?
He calls me Michelle. Doesn't call me Toni at all. That's my middle name, Toni Michelle.
But they kept pushing the wedding back and back until it was completely off the table, and Birdman was completely serious about tying the knot. It would have happened right then and there if it were up to him. What made this super confusing was when Toni revealed she lost her $1 million ring to theft after leaving it in her luggage while she was on the plane. Now, I don't know how true that is, y'all, but what we do know is shortly after that, Birdman and Toni announced that they were going their separate ways. There was still speculation that the two of them had already gotten married and just kept it quiet, but Toni quickly shut that down and revealed that the two of them had never been married to each other. After the breakup, Toni posted a picture of herself in a red dress with the caption, "Starting a new chapter isn't always an easy choice, but always choose to be chosen." Was there some tea she was trying to tell us with that? And even though Toni tried to keep it cute and make the breakup seem amicable, it looks like it was anything but smooth. Word is that Toni wasn't the only woman Birdman was dealing with. Long before she came into the picture, he and Kimora Lee were secretly dating each other, and he continued to fund her lifestyle long after Toni came into the picture. Birdman even celebrated Kimora, calling her the love of his life, and said that he was grateful for everything she had done for him. So Kimora is the love of his life while Toni is his family and soldier? That sounds like a whole lot right there. And that was the major issue between Toni and Birdman. Even after the two reunited on stage at Toni's Atlanta show, Kimora was still there in the wings, and she had Birdman at her beck and call. Word is that the only reason why Kimora isn't dating him publicly was because she didn't think that he was a good look for her, especially within the fashion circle she was running in. So when Toni and Birdman actually decided to get married last year, he was still running behind Kimora. Word is that on the day of the wedding, Birdman arrived very late and still decided to leave the wedding early, saying that he had to help someone with something. And that someone allegedly ended up being Kimora Lee, and he didn't even apologize to Toni for leaving his own wedding early. But really and truly, what the heck is Toni doing all up in this mess? Playing these childish games with Birdman was the last thing that anyone expected her to be doing at this big age, especially considering who she is. But Toni didn't plan to stick around too long, and she ended up staying long enough to make sure that she got a great check and ended up filing for divorce. Well, allegedly. Toni and Birdman only used their initials TB and BW when they signed the divorce papers and stated that their marriage was irretrievably broken. Neither Toni nor Birdman wanted the details of their divorce to be out there, and both of them aren't trying to dismiss the rumors that they are completely done with each other. Neither of them have been seen wearing wedding bands recently, and both of them have completely scrubbed photos of each other from their social media. Child, this news had the internet buzzing, and people are still shocked that Toni was willing to put up with Birdman even though she ended up getting a fat paycheck from the divorce. Toni Braxton and Birdman being a couple was one of the most outlandish events we've ever witnessed. LMAO. I'ma have to keep pretending Toni, the Braxton living legend, didn't let Birdman up under her skirt. Toni Braxton filing a divorce 2 weeks after getting married to Birdman is crazy. LOL. But what do y'all think about their relationship? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because you really don't want to miss out on the tea we got coming. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.